think there's a lot to like about the charts of Visa and MasterCard, and that's what we're going to focus on in today's video. Now, to do so, we're going to be using really two different tools. One is the seasonal analysis indicator to try and get an idea of how is August as a general month for trading both of these tickers. And the second is going to be Fibonacci. So both are fairly easy, straightforward tools, not too much technical analysis, but more around trying to find patterns in today's video. Now, let me start first by focusing in on the seasonal analysis for Visa, where we see for the month of August, at least using the past 5 years worth of data, 5 years, 1 day, we have closed above where we've opened 100% of the time, and on average, we've made a gain of right around 4.91% in Visa. So if we skip the idea of a 4.91% for the time being, let's first track where we opened to start off this month. And that was at 246.24, where we can draw a price level to try and use that as a marker. So what we expect using the seasonal analysis is August here, we have price action rally and end up closing above 246.24. So that's one bullish tendency, if you will, which is supporting the idea that in Visa we expect some sort of rally. Now, the second piece to call out before we move on, you also have dividends coming up. For those of you that would like to use that as an additional reason to try and get long actual Visa stock, as opposed to using any options or anything of that sort. Now, if we zoom out here, the next thing we can do is use Fibonacci. We're using our swing high to swing low from that Feb to March decline. We've so far only tagged the 236 extension, and the 1618 is still a bit of a ways away at 263.76. For those of you that have been tracking the market since February to March, you'll know that a lot of stocks, including something like, say, the QQQ, has already exceeded even beyond its 200% extension of that Feb to March decline. So when you're trying to find relatively less extended stocks, I think Visa is one of those more compelling tickers. Now, if we use a more near-term Fibonacci here, which was this swing high to this swing low, we had talked about this, I believe, in a previous video. For that swing high, we have now hit that 200% extension, which has really taken out all of the larger targets, upside targets you would have for the smaller swing high. And I think now gives you the option to draw yet another extension for our new latest swing high to swing low, which is from 252.67 all the way down to our lows. And that then gives us an extension near 257.74, but that 1618 lines up fairly nicely with our previous 1618 extension. Now that is not something I think will happen in August, but for those of you that again are looking at trying to just add Visa as part of your portfolio, I think that makes for a compelling play. So those are the larger term ideas, patterns, tendencies, whatever you'd like to think about it. Now if we zoom into today in particular, after a nice sell-off to start the month of August, we tagged the market pulse line, had a few days of chop. Today we now have our close above our high, and we stopped right at that market pulse. So if we can continue to just break up above it, continue to have more strength, that I think then leads to this idea that 246.24, easy first target, near the 618 extension of this swing high, swing low, and that is what we expect the month of August to really take us through. So that's Visa. Now if we switch over to MasterCard here, zoom out first on MasterCard, repeat something similar. Inside of MasterCard, we've hit the 1272 extension. We failed there once, twice, and 3 times. Now it looks like, in my opinion, we're trying to make a move towards it for a 4th time where I would hope we can break above it. In both of these cases, we also have earnings behind us, which I think is another nice thing in terms of planning a trade. Now here, if we start with using seasonal analysis first, August here one more time, 100%, we close above where we opened for the past 5 years. And I'll extend that to 10 years before we conclude this video, but so far we're using 5 years worth of data. And there the average move is a 6.23% gain using our open. So inside of MasterCard, using the open price here, we can draw one more horizontal price level. Let me grab that tool. And our price level here for MasterCard, 389.30 in terms of where we'd expect to see price action rally above. Now, in terms of why I think MasterCard here just looks a bit weaker, we're below that 1272 extension compared to in Visa, where we're above it, we've tagged it. I think the structure of that chart just looks a little bit nicer. So that's where we have those patterns setting up. And now if we use that same Fibonacci zone, we're trying to see what is a retest at least. That's 387.29. And we'd like to see a break above 389.30. So I wouldn't really expect much more than 389.30, at least given where price action's currently at. But this idea of this tendency still holding true, in my opinion, is a valid idea. Now, if we zoom out here, we try and find again the near-term next level Fibonacci, if you will. So smaller swing high to swing low that still has open targets. Again, using this swing high to this swing low, we're at the 1272 and our 1618 here is at 419.57. So all sorts of upside potential in both Visa and MasterCard. I know we talked about a lot of levels here, but the key idea is we're not overly extended. We have seasonal patterns that are really supporting this overall premise of a move up higher. And in both cases, today we've had a close above the previous day's candle, which I think adds to this idea that you may start to see buyers coming in. So that's really the baseline reason for why I think Visa and MasterCard may be interesting trade ideas that you're looking at using both the seasonality along with fibs. Let's change this now before we wrap this video up to a 10-year seasonal analysis trend. Try and see, is August still a relatively strong month? So in MasterCard, August here, 70% of the time we close higher. And if we move on to Visa, 70% of the time as well. The percentages here drop as you add more years worth of data, but in all of these cases, we still have a fairly strong pattern that I think is emerging that you may be able to take advantage of, at least with today's pullback opportunity. All right, so I hope this video was helpful for those of you that were looking to try and build a scan or try and scan for ideas at least in which August has been a traditionally nice month compared to everywhere else where folks are talking about slower seasonality in the month of August. I think Visa, MasterCard might be two places where you can try and outperform that if you are looking to participate in that same level. All right, hope this video was helpful. Take care, everyone. Good luck trading, and we'll see you in the next update.